Okay, and here is our garden. These are raised beds that we created up 1x8s that you can barely even see. There's about 140 square feet of garden space in here, and most of this was planted right about the end of June, within that last week of June, with a few things that were added in the following weeks prior to that. Pretty much everything was put in here as small plants. Most of them were in starter type of containers, and a couple things were a little larger. But even some of these real big tomatoes you see down the end that are good 4 to 5 feet now, a lot of those were in those small starter containers where there's 6 plants to a container. Glance in here. I think Karen's hiding in the garden. So we have quite a variety here. We do have a ridiculous number of tomatoes, and I think Karen's over there looking at some green beans. Everything, pretty much everything in here is done exceptionally well. We're starting to get some tomatoes coming in. I've been trying to water them real consistently to hopefully keep away that kind of cracking and stuff that happens. And we've had a couple that have ripened up that have looked pretty good.
Oh, I didn't realize you were paving. This tomato plant here has roots like this that start like this high off the ground.
What do you mean? They're sticking out?
Like roots. Like here are roots, here is ground.
So was it not planted deep enough, or did it?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just like that lawn guy said, is that we could have gone way deeper on these.
Well, I think tomatoes are kind of like willows, where they'll form new roots. So this side isn't as impressive because it's not as tall. These are zucchini and spaghetti squash, which the spaghetti squash you'll see have gotten all up high on this Stechny arborvitae. They just climb right up there near the top, 12, 14 feet high. And the zucchinis are coming out here into the front in the lawn. Another view of the tomatoes here. Now this is the kind of amazing part. These are spaghetti squash that are actually growing right off these vines, hanging on this arborvitae. And there are multiple squash growing like that. So it's pretty amazing. And as of today, we've had several zucchini that we've harvested, and I think we've had one spaghetti squash that we harvested and ate out of here, in addition to a number of green beans, onions, chives, other herbs. This is really our dedicated herb garden up here that kind of looks like we need to take a weed whacker to it. It's grown so well. This we started right about the beginning of July. And again, small starter plants that went in here. The middle item there, that's a perennial. It's called a goji berry bush, and I think it's going to be a couple years before it matures and actually produces a berry. But I tied it up a little bit. It started out as just a little tiny plant, a few inches high. But pretty much everything here has really taken off in this herb garden. And a few little accent items, some lamb's ear, some ivy, and we have a little volunteer poplar growing there. We have those potentilla, and that's, I forget what they're called, those sand cherries there. And this is a little autumn blaze maple here. That thing's gotten shuffled around to a couple different homes. We have some cosmos that are very interesting this year. We have some of these little sunflowers that got mixed in with it. I think those are going to bloom soon here. And but they've been a real pretty display with these cosmos. And we have a couple here that managed to make it to, I would say it's over 5 feet now. There's no blooms on them, but just a couple of them have become grossly oversized without blooms, and I read that can happen. But it's kind of neat here. You know, it has to be 5 feet or maybe a little bit over right there. So it's just the forsythia again on the cherry tree. Then just looking outward on the lawn. This is where we took down a spruce tree that was dying on us, and had only had about another year or two to live, so we decided to just go ahead and take it out. It was about 46, 47 years old, and it had been a real pretty tree at once, but it had been losing more and more branches in recent years, and so we decided to take that one down, but that caused a little bit of shuffle with some of our trees in the front yard here. So that's the tour. We have these marigolds here, which looked so nice and healthy when we put them in. You know, we've deadheaded these, and they've still been a little bit of a disappointment. They've kind of tipped over a lot, and haven't really kept blooming quite as much as we would have expected. And they were from a real nice nursery that, you know, where we thought they would have been a little higher quality one. But a bunch of those marigolds you saw on the side were real cheap ones, and they've just thrived.